didn't think we at this point obviously be talking about 2-1-2 teams in this matchup. Maybe two undefeated teams. It would have been the prediction going into the season, but the Ravens and the Chiefs teeing up this weekend. This again, from a market standpoint, opened at -2.5 in favor of Baltimore and is largely still there. We make it 3.5, -3.5 in favor of Baltimore. But I mean, we didn't bet this officially. I think about per our numbers and what the market is doing now. We do technically show some value, but we
3.5% on Baltimore. I don't know. I couldn't agree more. This is a weird situation for both these teams.
Hold on, I got Jonesy. Are you talking about left cheek, right cheek for this matchup, or the last one? That's funny though. I don't know. But yeah, okay. So this one, Seth. This one, another potential big swing in terms of game flow here, injury wise. Xavier Worthy practiced in full, so he's trending well to play this weekend, which obviously would be pretty big for the Chiefs because their passing attack, even though they're leading the league, or I think they're second behind the Chargers only in pass rate over expected. So still a pass heavy team, but not incredibly efficient. So it would be a big boon to get him back. So again,
but Mark Andrews is not Hall of Famer, but Pro Bowl player. I mean,
you said Mark Andrews.
What's his name?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mahomes and Kelsey.
No, I'm talking about likely is basically the backup to one of the best tight ends. Like, is that actually a change for this team? Like, is that actually an upgrade? My concerns are not with Baltimore's offense. It's with Baltimore's defense. We have them as the number seventh defense in our database as far as the 15-game rolling average. When we look at Eckle rate on defense, they fall to 14th. So there's a big discrepancy between this season's data and the 15-game rolling average prior from last season. So I'm really concerned here. We also have them as 17th in the defensive success rate. They're allowing 56% of their opponents' offensive plays to be what we would call a successful EPA play, which means a positive EPA play. I have big questions for what we're actually getting on Baltimore's defense. Are they regressing to who they were last year? Are they sliding into who they're going to become this year? And so far, they have the second tied for the first amount of points per game given up. Guess who is tied with them? Miami Dolphins. I mean, this is a team that no one's thinking is good, right? Yeah. So I have really big concerns. I don't think Likely's toe can help them here. That's not where their problem is. They're getting into these shootouts and they're scoring points, but then they can't stop a team when they need to.
No, that's true. And I don't know if I misspoke earlier, but I meant to say Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs is practicing.
Oh, he might. Maybe I misheard you.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. So that's
Likely Worthy
for a second. Whatever. Yeah. So if the Chiefs get him back, that in my opinion will be pretty significant.
For them. And we only saw how many snaps from him? Like 1, 2. Yeah. So I mean,
he pulled an Aaron Rodgers, from last year.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That could be pretty big for the Kansas City offense. And in our database right now, they're 13th. So they could really use the offensive help. And like you're saying, they're a pass first team right now. So
yeah. Now I want to get your thoughts on one thing, Ray, because this kind of goes to a comment that Shogun Mike had. Mahomes magic versus Lamar, right? He owns him and still has him in his pocket. Okay, well, you look at what kind of numbers and data break that up and support that. So over their careers, Mahomes' careers and Lamar Jackson's careers, Mahomes is, we'll just use air quotes here, twice as valuable as Lamar Jackson from an EPA generated standpoint. But if you look specifically in their last 10 games against something that we track and use in our data, that's flipped. Jackson is twice as valuable as Mahomes has been. And I think maybe that's where a lot of the value is being derived from, in the market and kind of where our numbers are at as well.
Yeah, 100%. And Baltimore has been literally like all-time offenses the last couple of seasons. I think both last season and the season before, they were the highest ranked DVOA team of all time. So they literally last year, they broke the record that they broke the year before. They just can't get it done. I would agree with Big Dog or whoever made that comment, Shogun Mike, if this were the playoffs. But in the regular season, actually, Lamar has actually taken the cake there.
Yeah. No, makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So it'll be fascinating to see. I mean, someone's going to lose this game and they're going to be 1-3. It's just going to be a tough sled. tough sledding the rest of the way. But both of these teams are dominant enough. We've seen enough. We know who these teams are, right? I would be surprised if the loser doesn't still squeak out a wild card spot at least. But
Well, and Kansas City, isn't there another wide receiver that's suspended?
Rasheed Rice is still, not this game. He's suspended for 6 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean later in the season, like they have some like theoretical antidotes to their offensive problems. I mean, it was closer than it should have been. We were on Kansas City against the Giants, and it was more of a nail biter than it should have been. Shout out Patrick Mahomes for recovering that fumble. He single-handedly covered that game, right?
That was nuts. Yeah, that was a nuts of play. So yeah, this will be a fun game to watch either way. I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't know if I'd quite go shootout, but yeah, can Mahomes recapture some of that magic against this Baltimore D? And if they can just keep churning, then it should be a fun one to watch. So
yeah, can I ask? I thought this was interesting question.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Somebody was asking, would you say that the 15-game rolling sample has an asterisk for teams that had a deep playoff run versus not? I'm not really sure why there would be an asterisk there. I mean, we were just using the available plays that we have, and I think the reality of why we use a 15-game rolling sample, one isn't an opinion. We measure what is the most predictive, right? What is lowering the error of the prediction? So that's how you derive the 15-game sample. But really what this ultimately looks like is teams in early in the season can be noisy, those stats. And I think a great example is last week's Kansas City versus Giants. If you just look at the raw stats of the Giants and Kansas City from this season, you can come to a conclusion that the Giants probably should have been favored in that game. Well, why is Kansas City a 6-point favorite? Well, the reality is because only 4 games ago, Kansas City was in the Super Bowl, right? So the caliber of these teams, the ceiling of these teams are different. And based off of what we know with the totality of that data can help us and better predict what these teams are going to do.